Hey there. So we have had a ton of requests for a consumer app class, and I have a consumer app class here ready for you. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing that I want to share with you guys is a quote that I heard the other day. I think it very much relates to the consumer app and the consumer experience. So our quote is, people will rarely make a change on their own. They need to be led. I want you to think about a time that you were challenged to change for the better. And when you were in that moment to be challenged to change for the better, were you led by somebody else or maybe inspired by somebody else to make that change? Or did just one day you wake up and say, okay, I'm going to start eating good, and you did it all on your own? We rarely make change without somebody else leading us, whether it's a mentor that we meet with in the office, whether it's a YouTube channel that we watch, or somebody we subscribe to. Maybe it's a book that we're reading. Most of the time, when we are challenged to change or challenged to make a change, we need to be led in order to do so. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because your consumers are in the same boat. Your consumers are going to make the biggest decision, or one of the biggest decisions in their life, when they decide to buy or sell real estate. And that's a huge change. And they aren't going to do it on their own. They must be led. The consumer app was built to help you lead them with the highest amount of leverage. So I want to jump right in with you guys right now. The first thing that I'm going to ask you to do before I get into the class is list 10 people. Now, these 10 people that you list, I want you to list the top 10 people in your pipeline. So who have you talked to that is looking to buy or sell? And who are those top 10 people? Go ahead and take a few minutes and write up this list of the top 10 people who are in your pipeline to buy or sell, starting with your A, then your B, then your C. If you don't have 10 people in your pipeline to buy or sell, let's get on lead generation number one. And number two, I want you to think of your top 10 allied resources. So if you don't fill up 10 with the people that are looking to buy or sell, who are your top 10 allied resources, or the top 10 people who are most influential in your success? Maybe that's your mom, who's going to refer every single person who mentions real estate to you. Maybe that's a lender who is working with you at a high level. Who are the top 10 people who are going to be most influential to your business success? So first, we're going to start with the top 10 people in our buyer or seller pipeline. If we don't have 10 in there, then we're going to move into people who are going to help influence our success. Take a few minutes to write up that list, and then when you're ready, we'll go ahead and move forward. So there's three things we're going to talk about today. First thing that I want to review with you guys today that I know will help you be the most successful in managing your app, sharing your app, all of that great stuff, is the app itself. Let's take a look at what the consumer experience is in the app so you can best serve them. Now I'm trying to find my notes here. The second thing that we're going to talk about today is how to share your app. What ways can we share our app with our consumers, share our app with our family and friends? What are some ways that we can get it out there? Because I know some of us are sharing our app and it looks like we're sharing it as the consumer, since we're sharing it through the consumer app. So I want to show you different options and ways you can share your app and get your app in people's hands. Last but not least, I want to talk about how you can use the app to, how you could use Command to communicate with your app. So how to customize your app at the highest level and how to utilize your app at the highest level. So let's go ahead and get started with, first and foremost, giving you a tour of the app. All right, so I have prepared a video of what the app looks like on your phone so we can tour it together. Please feel free to open up your app right now on your phone and tour with us. Now, one clarifying piece of information I want to give before we start touring the app is remember, this app is the consumer experience. So the last app we had, you could have an agent experience inside of the app, meaning you could use the app as an agent and share it as an agent. In this app, it's 100% consumer experience. So while you're in this app, think of yourself as the consumer versus the agent. Anything that you want to do as the agent, you're going to do inside of Command. So let's go ahead and get started. We're the consumer, we're hanging out in our app. Let's take a look at what it can do. So when you open up your app, this is your home page. In your home page, you can see that there's different views that you can select. Right now, we're on a map view. You can also look at it on a list view. You can use the search bar at the top to search a city, address, school, zip code, a specific monument. You could search for the stadium and it would pull it up. You can also click the little arrow inside the search bar to search your current location. Also on the home page when you first open the app, you can customize your search by price, bed, property type, and even more. You can save your searches, you can draw on the map. If you look at the bottom of the app, we're inside of the search applet within the app. You can also use a feed, which is like Facebook for your app, for your real estate feed. You can go into a guide, which will guide you through the buying process and the selling process. You can also save searches here, and you can go into more, which is your experience as a consumer, some more options for you, the consumer. We're gonna go right into the guide. So I clicked on the middle button at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of my app that says guide. And in here, you can build out a custom guide for your buyers and sellers. So this is what your buyer would see inside their app. Inside of Command is where you're gonna customize this guide. So you can create it specifically for your experience that you give to your clients. You can do that for your buyer and your seller. Create customizable guides each step along the way of the buying and selling process. The next place that I went into is saved. So it's at the bottom of your app, the little heart that says saved. This is where your clients are going to save collections or searches in regards to what they're looking for or what's happening perhaps in their neighborhood that they're looking to sell. The next place I jumped into was more on the bottom right-hand side. It's the very last applet that we can get into here. And when you look at the more section, there's a few things that I want to point out. First and foremost, when you send your app's link, which I'll teach you how to send out today, when you send out that link, it's going to make sure that you're the agent on this app. So as the consumer, as I'm looking at this app, I see that my agent is Ashley Villana and I could view her profile. Also inside of the more section, I can look at my history. I can check out my account and update my account information. I can add a co-buyer. So if I have a significant other or a family member who also wants to be a part of my buying experience and interact with me in my app as I search as the consumer, I can add somebody in my more button to do so. The other really important items inside of here that you'll want to make sure your consumer is aware of is sharing the KW app. So this is where your consumer will share the app with their friends, family, other people who have said they're interested in buying and selling. You also have Keller Mortgage in here, where you can direct your client to get started on the lending process. And of course, Keller Mortgage is going to be a great option for your clients because they have no loan fees, no lender fee, right? No origination fee, and you are crediting $1,000 back at closing as long as they're purchasing a property over $150,000. So Keller Mortgage is a great resource to make sure your clients are aware of inside of their app. The next thing inside of here is Keller Covered, where they're going to be able to view different options for their home insurance to see if they can get a cheaper price on their home insurance. So we have two really important buttons in here that we can click to help save our clients money right here inside of their app. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to walk you through what these different buttons look like when you click into each section. So I clicked on to share my app. Here I can share the app multiple different ways. I can share it through a text message. I can share it on Facebook. I can email it out. I can post it on Pinterest. I can add it in my notes. I can save it to my files. But let's say that I want to go ahead and email this out. So, or I'm sorry, text message this out. So I'm going to click on that text message, and you see, as I click on this text message, it automatically populates a text. So this is awesome for your consumers, because your consumer, if they have a friend who is looking to buy or sell, they can send the app and it'll automatically create the message that they want to share. So they don't have to create the link, type up the message, and then send it to their friends. They just open this up and the message is already created. Now for you, if you wanted to share your app this way as an agent, you can still do it. You would just delete out the language that's in here already and enter in your new language, but making sure you still keep the link live, right? So don't delete the link out of here. So you can see I'm just gonna throw a message in here, check out my awesome app, and then I'm gonna send it out to whoever I wanted to send it out to. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna challenge you to go ahead and pull up your app right now, go into your More button on the bottom right-hand side of the app, and then click Share My App. Go ahead and share it as a text message, and here's where this list of the 10 people come. I want you to go ahead and choose one of those 10 people, maybe your most influenced person right now, the person that you could probably most influence to sit down and help you with, so you can help them with the buying or selling process. Go ahead and type that person's name, or go ahead and type their name into the to box in your text message. Change the language so it doesn't say check out my Realtors app, but change it to something like I said, check out my app for a great searching experience, and go ahead and send that off to them. And look at that, we're doing a little bit of lead generation while we're learning about the consumer app. That's pretty cool, right? So I challenge you to send this to at least one person in your phone to share your app. Next, we're going to talk about the Keller Mortgage. So I'm going to click on that and show you what that looks like. You can see in here, it tells your clients about Keller Mortgage. They can choose they're working with you, the KW agent, and they can begin the lending process that easily. Next, let's jump into Keller Covered. Inside of Keller Covered, they can get a quote in 7 steps to see if they can save their money on homeowners insurance through using Keller Covered. So there's the More section about your app. Again, they can view your profile, see who you are, get your contact information very easily through your app. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to the search button on the bottom of the screen, on the bottom of my app, and talk a little bit more about the search itself. So I can choose from a map view to a list view. So I went ahead and switched over to a list view here to view properties in Brighton. I can change to my current location, so I can view properties perhaps in the area that I desire. When I click on the property, I can share that property with other people. I can save it to a collection. I would just, if I wanted to create a new collection, I could create a new collection right there as I'm looking at the property. I must have done something wrong because I got an error there. I can also change which collection I want to send it to. I can add it to multiple collections, or I could just save it to one collection. It's completely up to how I want to save it. So here we go. We got the property saved in a collection. I can ask my agent more about this property. I can see stats in the area, what people have to say, commute times, meaning I could search for a place and see how long it would take me to get from that home to that place. Nearby homes, schools, all kinds of great information just in this search feed. Here again is the list view. I can continue to scroll down, see if there's anything I like. There's a heart to easily save properties that I am enjoying. I can customize the price point, beds, bath, property type, and I'll click into more here in a few moments. Here's some more options that I have as a consumer to be able to customize my search. And now I have a new custom search in my current location that I can name. So maybe I name this homes under 350, or however I customized my search, I can make a little name for it. And there we go, I saved a search. Now again, I can go back to my saved button at the bottom of my app and see my recently saved properties. So there's a little bit about the app for you guys. I know you guys got a ton of value out of that with a quick view of what your clients see when they're in the app. So now that we know what the consumer experience looks like inside the app, let's have a conversation about how to send that experience out. So you guys know one way that we can send the consumer app out. That way is through getting in the app as a consumer, going to the more section, and sending that app out that way by customizing the text message that has already been customized for our likings. Here's another way to send your KW app if you're an iPhone user. So if you're not an iPhone user, I apologize. I don't know what this process looks like. I would assume that there's something similar. If you are an iPhone user, let's take a look at this together. So first and foremost, you would go into your settings. So start in your iPhone, find your settings. Once you have your settings found, you're gonna go ahead and click on General. So Settings, General. Once you have the Settings, General selected, you're gonna select Keyboard. So again, we're gonna go into Settings, find General, find Keyboard. Keyboard's about a little bit down, so you'd have to do a little scrolling to get there. Once you get into the keyboard, you're going to choose the second box called Text Replacement. Text Replacement. After you are in General, you are in Keyboards, and you're going to click on Text Replacement. Now stay with me, this is cool. You're gonna click on the Add button on the top right-hand corner of Text Replacement. And in here, where it says phrase, you're gonna go ahead and enter in your URL for your app. Now, if you need to go find your URL, go back into that text message that you just sent, copy that URL, and then go back into your text replacement inside of settings and paste that URL into phrase. So again, I'm gonna copy my URL and paste it into this text replacement section inside of settings, inside of general, inside of keyboard, inside of text replacement. Then I'm going to go ahead and name a shortcut. So I just want something really simple, my app. I'm going to save that new phrase in text replacement, and here's where the magic happens. Anywhere you can go and start typing my app, and when you type my app, your phrase or your link to your app will automatically populate. You click on that, and now you don't have to memorize this huge link to send it out. You just type in my app. You can use that if you put it in notes. You could post it on Facebook. Anywhere that you type My App in your phone, it'll now replace that text with the link to the app. So I'm sure that was very helpful, very valuable for you iPhone users. And I bet that there's something similar for the rest of y'all who don't use the iPhone. So we have learned two great things today. We've learned what the app looks like, the consumer side of the app, and we've learned how to send that app out a couple of ways now. So we have learned two great things today. The last thing that I want to teach you guys is how to customize and utilize your app at the highest level. So let's go into Command, because again, the app itself on your phone is the consumer experience, and where the agent creates their experience for the app is inside of Command. And there's three places that we're able to give a great consumer experience via the app. So let's start in the first place. Inside of Command, please play along with me. Inside of Command, you're going to see at the bottom an applet that says Consumer. Go ahead and click on that applet. Once you're inside of the Consumer applet, where you're going to want to go first to understand more about the app is Site and App Settings. So again, we're in the Consumer applet, and we are going to Site Settings. Now I'm going to click on URL, which is the second button in the middle of the page. And this is going to show me my app URL. So if I ever get confused and can't find it again on the Consumer app, don't worry, you can find it here. So I scroll down and I see right here my app URL. So I can copy my app URL and be able to send that URL wherever I'd like to send it. So here's another place where you can find your URL. Next place I want to go inside of the Consumer app, or inside of the Consumer applet, inside of Command, is the Guide Builder. Remember when I was showing you the Consumer app and the buyer process and the seller process? Here's where you get to customize those. So if you click on the arrow on the left-hand side of either the buyer guide or the seller guide, that's where you can edit these guides to your customizable experience for your clients. Now there's already an outline built for you. So if you like it, you don't have to customize anymore. If you want to give a customizable experience, it's available to you. So when you customize this, you would just click on each box. It would open up a card on the right-hand side where you can then start to create material, content, pictures, and build it out to whatever best works for you. There's the guide, and there's also the introduction that you can customize. And again, you can do this for your buyers and your sellers. So feel free to customize these guides to your buyer or seller experience. I'll also give you a hint. In the MREA is a buyer and seller guide that you could build your guides off of to give an exceptional experience. So if you are not in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent reading it, I highly recommend, because all the content you need to build out your buyer and seller guide is inside of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. All right, so we know that we can work on our on giving a unique customizable experience for our clients through the Consumer applet inside of Command. I also want to show you where you're going to communicate with your buyers and sellers via the app. So your buyers and sellers are going to use the app. You're going to use opportunities, the handshake on the far left-hand side, that applet. And when you have a buyer or seller, first and foremost, if they have your app, if anybody has your app, you've got to put them as a contact in your database, or else you have no idea what they're doing on your app. So make sure they're a contact in your database. Then you're going to put them in opportunities. Once you have your contact inside of opportunities is where the magic happens, and you can start to see what they're doing inside of your app. So I'm going to go into my buyers, and I'll show you where you will find your consumer information for your buyer. So I went ahead and clicked on a buyer. We'll use this buyer here. Clicked on their name, and now I'm inside of their opportunity. And where I'm going to communicate with them, they're going to use the app. I'm going to use this buyer profile inside of their opportunities. So I'm going to see if they've registered for the platform yet here, and then the guide, where they're at, where I am pushing them through the guide. So as I move them through the buyer pipeline and opportunities, they'll get updates on that buyer seller guide that we were just discussing, where they can see what the next steps are. Pretty cool, right? So this is one area where you can, again, use the app to communicate with your clients, to see what they're looking at, to see where they're in the guide process, so on and so forth. Now, another area where you can see what they're doing inside of the app is inside of their contact. So as Command continues to grow and expand and build, we'll start to see this communication happen inside of opportunities and inside of the contacts. So let me pull up a contact, and I'm sure you've seen the contact cards before. On the right-hand side, where it walks you through all the experiences they're having, the phone calls, emails, text messages, smart plans that they're set up for, all of that great stuff. You're also going to see what homes they're searching for, what properties they've saved, what properties they like. We're all on the internet in this crazy world. Let's see if I can populate it here. All right, here we go. We'll go to Amber Brown. Now don't steal my lead here, guys. Okay, don't steal her contact information. But soon, when Amber's using the app, you'll start to see what she's searching for right here inside of her live activity feed. So that's another way that we can communicate with our clients through the consumer app. Last but not least, I've shown you how to communicate with clients through the consumer app. I've shown you what the consumer app experience looks like, and I've shown you how to send out your app. The last thing that I want to do is to show you how to send out your app without any additional work from you once we set up a smart plan. So I want you to go ahead and go into Smart Plan Applet on the far left-hand side. And I want you to move over into your library. In your library, there is a smart plan that has already been created for you. It could not be any easier, guys. And this smart plan is going to promote your app. What? So you can see it's 5 steps with 3 touches. And here's what the steps look like. Send out an automatic email, delay a day, send out an automatic text message, delay a day, send out an automatic text message. So easy. So here's what I challenge you to do. Now, you may have had monkey brain a few minutes earlier when I told you to text your app to that top 1 or 2 people, thinking, oh, they're going to think I'm bugging them, or oh, they're going to ask me why I'm sending this, or whatever reason you can give for not sending your app out. I'm going to challenge you. Get uncomfortable if you did not send your app out a minute ago, and let's set them up on a smart plan. If you did send out your app a minute ago, congratulations, you already did what some people find very uncomfortable. We're going to go a step further. We're going to make sure our app gets in our clients' hands. And the reason why is because we know that when somebody makes a change, we have to lead them through that change. Nobody can do change on their own. So the first step to help your clients move through that change of buying or selling a home is to give them your app, a great resource to lead them through those changes. So let's help our consumers and set them up on the smart plan. Let's learn how. So I'm first going to go into Add Smart Plan, and I'm going to add this smart plan into my smart plan library. Look, I already have it. So that's what the red bar came up for. So I'm going to go over into my smart plans on the top left-hand side of the screen here. And I'm going to scroll through my smart plans. I have tons of them because I love leveraging smart plans. But I'm going to go into my Promote My App. I guess I named it that way. And I'm gonna add some people. So I'm gonna do that by moving over to the far right-hand side of my screen and clicking Add Contact. Here, I'm gonna start searching those 10 people. So maybe Amber Brown is one who needs this, or is one who is my top people. So I'm gonna go ahead and search for Amber Brown, and then once her name populates, I'm gonna click on her box and add her to the Smart Plan. Or if you have your people already tagged, maybe you have your allied resources already tagged. So I'm gonna check that box and I can send it out to those people. Maybe you wanna send it out to your whole sphere of influence. So you could tag your whole sphere of influence and you could send it out to them if you'd like. Maybe you wanna send it out to another tag. Whoever we wanna send it out to, we'll go ahead and start clicking on those people that we wanna send this app out to or this Smart Plan out to. And then you're gonna click Add Smart Plan. Now you can choose to start it now if you want them to know about your Smart Plan, or you can choose to start it in a few days or so. I'm gonna go ahead and start now. You guys, here we go. I have no idea who I clicked, but I know that everybody earns the right to see my app. So I'm gonna send this out to all of those people. Click Confirm. So Audrey, Billy, Jessica Brown, Jessica McKay, and Jessica Bailey are all gonna get my app. And I'm gonna click Confirm to the process. And now I have them set up on my app. I don't have to do any work and I'm getting my app out to people. I challenge you to send this Smart Plan out to as many people that deserve to be searching through your app, not somebody else's app. Any questions, comments, concerns? I am here for you guys. Let's go ahead and help people make these big, important changes. Thanks for tuning in, guys.